Hi, I'm Joel Lazinski, and in this video I'm speaking about the minefield that is healthcare, and particularly natural healthcare. So if somebody is struggling with a health challenge or is looking for a solution to any of their ongoing problems, it's often very difficult to go out there on your own because there are so many different opinions and so many different thoughts and so many things that are absolutely diametrical and opposing and contradictory. So I am very empathetic and understanding of the fact that it's incredibly confusing and overwhelming for many people going out there to try and find solutions for themselves. At least in the standard sort of allopathic Western medical model, there are standardized guidelines. There's licensed practitioners. They are standardized. They are trained according to a governmental standard. Whether that's good or bad is not important, but at least that removes many sort of contradictions and concerns and things that can be very confusing for people. This is what your condition is. This is your diagnosis, and this is how we treat it. And you might go to different practitioners, and they might give you slightly different views of it, but it will generally be within a very specific framework. Whether it's effective or not is not what I'm talking about here, but it's less confusing and less fearful for people out there looking for solutions. But when we go into the natural world, things become very complicated because there's not a lot of standardization, there's not a lot of global licensing, there's not a lot of standardized guidelines. Many of the formally educated natural health practitioners are often trained in universities or colleges or courses that have been standardized and often are, in order to be able to be standardized, have to fit into a Western allopathic medical ideology. And so again, there can be a lot of complications around choosing the best person for you. And there's everything in between. So I want to just give you a couple of rules of thumb when it comes to deciding on which way you want to go and who sounds more logical. So first of all, my view is that somebody's credentials may be important, but the experience and how many people they've helped that are similar to you and their reputation, specifically in a word of mouth basis, is important. Because if somebody's helping somebody and you hear from them about them from somebody that's been helped, you know that they clearly have had some effect. When you are talking to them, you want to make sure that they're making sense, that they explain themselves to you, and that they're not sounding so crazy or far-fetched, obviously. You don't want any practitioner to be taking any particular risks on you, okay? You don't want them to be sounding that they can fix everything without any logical way of explaining it to you. Any newfangled or new ideas of how to fix something is probably a red flag. Any major high-cost supplementation or testing or machinery is probably a red flag as well. Here comes the final part of this conversation, that is that our modern diseases, and I've mentioned this before in a previous video, our modern diseases do not come from traditional old-style living. You know, I've been following a lot of colleagues who talk about anthropologists that went around the world and studied our ancestors and found them to be extremely healthy, extremely robust. None of the diseases that we see today lived very old lives. The children did not have mental health issues, nor did the adults. There weren't a lot of crime or problems within the communities. These were healthy, robust people living traditional lives. Now, there's no major romance about the traditional lifestyles outside of their health, and they had to be healthy because they didn't have things to save them like we have nowadays. So when you look at somebody, if they're coming with brand new ideas of what a modern problem, a traditional problem or an old problem, an old food, those sort of things, to one of your modern challenges, you probably realize that they are not the person for you. You want to look at somebody that can follow logic and reason and build a program for you emotionally and physically that will be able to solve your problems and give you the ability to take back your own health. must be educational, and it must be able to allow you to get your own health back. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.